Good morning. Hi, I'm Miss Steph from Hainer Public Library, and I'm ready to tell stories today. Today we're going to talk about green things. We're not going to talk about green peas. We're not talking about asparagus. We're not talking about spinach. We are going to talk about the Grinch. It's this time of year, he pops up every once in a while. This is Grinch that met Mr. Max. The Grinch had an itch. He tried to scratch, but he could not reach that itchy patch. The itch, it tickled. The itch was ouchy. It made the Grinch very grouchy. It itched him when he tried to eat. It itched him when he tried to sleep. It itched him when the snow was snowy. It itched him when the wind was blowy. It itched him when the rain was wet. It itched him when the sun had set. Ooh, I'd hate to be itchy all the time. Plus, itchy and green. It made him frown. It made him roar. He kicked his foot right through the door. The Grinch yelled, "Ouch!" and he grabbed his toes. And then through the hole, there poked a nose. A nose into the house. There came a pup. He gave a yap, and he jumped right up, and he cocked his head, and he wagged his tail. Isn't he just the cutest little thing? The Grinch let out an awful wail. "Get out, you pup, why can't you see? I'm not your friend's not me. I don't like nice, I don't like funny, I don't want food, and I don't want money. And if people want to come and chat, I tell them no, and that's that." The Grinch sat down to scratch some more, but once again he heard the door. The pup was jumping just outside. His paws were up, his eyes were wide, his tail was wagging quick as quick, and in his mouth he held a stick. "Oh no," the Grinch yelled. "Listen, beast, I do not like you in the least. I don't like kids, I don't like rides, I don't like cakes and pinks insides. When rainbows come, I shut my eyes. There's nothing worse than a surprise. Parades just make me run away, and most of all, I hate to play." He turned around and slammed the door, and then sat down to scratch some more. He scratched and began to formulate the awful plan. He wants to fetch, I'll throw that stick. I'll throw that stick so far he won't get it back so quick. He tiptoed out into the yard and found some ground that wasn't hard. And there, much faster than a mole, the Grinch began to dig a hole. He dug that hole deep as he could, and as deep as sleep, as deep as the sea. It did not stop, it just went on, to hither and thither, and here and yon, to upper Miff and lower Mulf, and came out into the gulf of Zitzazulf, almost far as half to the nearest star. "Hey, pup," he called, "I'm ready, come. I've got a game that's really fun." The pup came running quick as quick, and he brought the Grinch his favorite stick. The Grinch said, "Fetch it, go, go, go," and he tossed the stick down low, low, low. The pup looked down, and he raised his ear. Then he made a jump and he disappeared. He went so deep into the dark he could not even hear him bark. Yes, cried the Grinch, oh yes. And out without a hitch, off he went to scratch his itch. He tried to reach it with a spoon, he even tried with a fat balloon. He tried to reach it with a fan, he tried to reach it with a frying pan. He tried to reach it with a rod and with a reel and with the cod. And he tried to reach it with a boot. Three kinds of fruit he used. He tried standing on his head, he tried lying in his bed, he tried jumping on a trampoline, and with a bright green itch machine, he tried and tried and tried. Until he just sat down and he cried and cried. Then all at once he heard a sound, and when he turned to look around, the dog was standing at the door just as happy as before. Messy, dirty, tired, and hot, but back again no matter what. Through mulf and milf, through thin and thick, that dog had come back with his stick. Drat, cried the Grinch, just can't be. That pup still wants to play with me. I'll shut my eyes and I'll turn green, and he'll see that I'm mad and mean, bad and nasty to the core, and then he'll go away for sure. And then he raised his two front paws and scratched that itch with nice sharp claws. And then all at once the Grinch felt strange. Was something new? Had something changed? The pup had found what he could do, not that prickly, itchy spot. And now the Grinch was not so itchy. Somehow he didn't feel so gritchy. He called, hooray, the itch is found. I think you'd better stick around until I'm sure that it's over. And while you're here, I'll call you Rover. The pup looked sad. He turned away and wandered off the other way. Wait, yelled the Grinch. Wait, Fido, Spot, or Bingo, Bongo, Bozo, Blot. I'll call you any name you wish if you will stay and scratch my itch. The pup turned back and raised his head. The Grinch could see a collar red. And there he saw in letters bold this short word, Max, made out of gold. And from that time, no one knows why, the Grinch's Max stayed right nearby. The pup who'd gone through milf and mulf, who come back from the awful gulf, stayed by the Grinch, that grumpy grouse, and scratched his back and shared his house. Maybe the Grinch is not so mean after all. Everybody loves puppies. So today I brought a couple of jokes again, and they're mostly about the Grinch, so I thought that would be fun. Why was the Grinch afraid of Santa Claus? Because he was claustrophobic. Oh my goodness, I just love jokes. What does a grumpy sheep say at Christmas? I don't know. He says, bah, humbug. Oh, golly, golly. Okay, let's try this one. How the Grinch got so grinchy. I'd kind of like that, know that too. And maybe he's grinchy because he's green. Unlike the Who's, who liked Christmas a lot, the Grinch in his cave on Mount Crumpet did not. He was born to hate Christmas, and most people say, but maybe his life was made that way. 'Twas the night before Christmas, quite some time ago, the night who babies fell down with the snow. They fell down to earth on their soft umbrellas, those little who gals and those little who fellas. Oh, oh, sweet little babies. No one who seemed to hear him or want him or need him. No one who came to hug him or clean him or feed him. Oh. At long last, two who gals came out and they found the source of a most unadorable sound. They got down the baby who hung in a tree. They pulled back the blanket, and what did they see? A fuzz-covered baby. Yes, fuzzed every inch. He wasn't a who, so they called him a Grinch. The two gals, they fed him and cleaned him and oiled him. They fussed over him. Yes, those gals really spoiled him. So he was loved. Without, no, I skipped a page. Here we go. The Grinch was their pride and the Grinch was their joy. They treated him like any other Who boy. With all of his fuss, he was really quite cute. Come winter, he went out. Without a snowsuit. Yes, life for the boy was cool and dandy. That is, until the first day of school. The students, they stared and they teased him as well. They made fun of his fangs and his funky Grinch smell. Poor little Grinch. The teacher, Miss Ruhu, whose job was to teach him, was not very good, but she still tried to reach him. She drummed in the lesson that every Who knows, from the ends of their hairs to the tips of their toes. Put Christmas ahead of all other Who days. Make Christmas your mission in millions of ways. Deck every hall and shop till you drop. Jingle those bells and don't you dare stop. Is it really worth it? The Grinch had to mutter, and then something happened to make his heart flutter. Young Martha May Wolverine was staring and winking. Could you really like me? The Grinch started thinking. That would be nice. Miss Ruhu told the gang as she slammed the book shut and the Who bell rang, bring in a present for a special some Who. Go out and shop and show what you can do. He went home and worked with some junk that he had. For a bunch of old junk, it did not look so bad. This angel will sit on top of the tree. Whenever she sees it, she will think of me. He's thinking about his little friend. He found an old razor inside an old sack. He started to scrape and he started to hack. So bad was the job that he did on his face. The next day he hid from the whole human race. Miss Ruhu took one look at the Grinch. She said, please take that paper bag off your head. Now, August May, who would one day be mayor, like Martha May too, he did not play fair. This guy must be under some kind of curse, the face or the gift. I can't tell which is worse. Oh, he cut himself all up because he wanted to look like everybody else. We don't want to look like everybody else. We want to look like who we are. The Who gang went bonkers. They laughed and they jeered, made "Who's a Boss Who" was a cheer of all cheers. There's always some meanie in your class, isn't there? Your Christmas is stupid, then Grinch cried out. He started to scream and he started to shout. He started to jump and he started to thrash until all that he touched had been turned into trash. Sometimes we say things when we don't really mean it because our feelings are hurt. So off the Grinch went to cave on Mr. Crumpet. And as far as the Who's, they could all like it or lump it. He stayed in his cave with a sneer on his face, hating the Who's and the whole human race. He lived all alone, yes, those are the facts, except for his cute little puppy dog, Max. So whenever that meaning of Christmas gets hazy and the seasonal crunch makes you go a bit crazy, just think of the Grinch in his cave far away and remember that he wasn't always that way. And forget all the things you've read or have heard. The Grinch needs a friend and he needs a kind word too. Just like all of us do. The end. Well, now I think we might be a little tired and need to be a little stretching. Shall we do the tootie tot again today? We shall. Okay. Let's start, get our arms swinging so we can get some stretches going here. Just kind of wave your arms a little bit. We got them all loose now. Got your legs loose, kind of walk a little bit in place. All right, here we go, and follow me, because now I know you know the song. A tootie-ta, a tootie-ta, tootie-ta-ta. A tootie-ta, a tootie-ta, a tootie-ta-ta. Arms out. A tootie-ta, a tootie-ta, a tootie-ta-ta. A tootie-ta, a tootie-ta, tootie-ta-ta. Arms out, shoulders back. A tootie-ta, a tootie-ta, tootie-ta-ta. A tootie-ta, a tootie-ta, a tootie-ta-ta. Arms out, shoulders back, feet apart. A tootie-ta, a tootie-ta, a tootie-ta-ta. A tootie-ta, a tootie-ta, a tootie-ta-ta. Arms out, shoulders back, feet apart, knees together. A tootie-ta, a tootie-ta, tootie-ta-ta. A tootie-ta, a tootie-ta, a tootie-ta-ta. Arms out, shoulders back, feet apart, knees together, bottoms up. A tootie-ta, a tootie-ta, a tootie-ta-ta. A tootie-ta, a tootie-ta, tootie-ta-ta. Arms out, shoulders back, feet apart, knees together, bottoms up, tongues out. A tootie-ta, a tootie-ta, a tootie-ta-ta. A tootie-ta, a tootie-ta, a tootie-ta-ta. One more time. Arms out, shoulders back, feet apart, knees together, bottoms up, tongues out. Tootie-ta, a tootie-ta, tootie-ta-ta. A tootie-ta, a tootie-ta, tootie-ta-ta. Yes, very good. I heard all of you. You did it correct. Now let's sit down and dry for one last story. This is how the Grinch stole Christmas. Every Who in Whoville liked Christmas. We just talked about that, remember? But the Grinch. Now we also know why he doesn't like it. Who lived just north of Whoville and did not like Christmas. The Grinch hated Christmas, the whole Christmas season. Now please don't ask why. No one quite knows the reason, but we do. It could be his head wasn't screwed on just right. It could be perhaps that his shoes were too tight. But I think that most likely the reason of all may have been that his heart was 2 sizes too small. But whatever the reason, his heart or his shoes, he stood there on Christmas Eve, hating the Whos, staring down from his cave with a sour, gritching frown at the warm lighted windows below in their town, for he knew every Who down in Whoville beneath was busy now hanging a mistletoe wreath, and they're hanging their stockings, he snarled with a sneer. Tomorrow is Christmas, it's practically here. Then he growled with his Grinch fingers nervously drumming, I must find some way to stop Christmas from coming. So tomorrow, all the Who girls would wake bright and early, they'd rush for their toys, and then, oh, the noise. Oh, the noise, the noise, the noise. That's one thing he hated, the noise, the noise, the noise. Then the Who's young and old would sit down to a feast, and they'd 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 feast, and they would feast on Who pudding and rare Who roast beast, which was something the Grinch couldn't stand in the least. And then they'd do something he liked least of all. Every Who down in Whoville, the tall and the small, would stand close together with Christmas bells ringing. They'd stand hand in hand, and the Whos would start singing. And they'd sing, and they sing, and they sing, and they sing, and they sing. And the more the Grinch thought of this Who Christmas sing, the more the Grinch thought, I must stop this whole thing. Why, for 53 years I've put up with it now. I must stop this Christmas from coming. But how? Got an idea. It's an awful idea. Well, the Grinch got a wonderful idea, but it was an awful idea. I know just what to do, he said. This is going to be great. And he made a quick Santa Claus hat and coat, and he chuckled and clucked. What a great Grinchy trick. With this coat and this hat, I look just like St. Nick. All I need is a reindeer. The Grinch looked around, but since reindeer are scarce, there was none to be found. Did that stop old Grinch? No, the Grinch simply said, if I can't find a reindeer, I'll make one instead. So he called his dog Max, and they took some red thread, and he tied a big horn on the top of his head. And then he loaded some empty bags on a ramshackle sleigh, and he hitched up the old Max. And then the Grinch said, giddy up, and the sleigh started down toward the homes where the Whos lay a snooze in their town. All their windows were dark, quite snow filled the air. All the Whos were all dreaming sweet dreams without any cares. When he came to the first little house in the square, this is stop number 1, the old Grinchy Claus hissed, and he climbed to the roof and emptied bags in his fist. Then he slid down the chimney, a rather tight pinch, but if Santa could do it, then so could a Grinch. He got stuck only once for a moment or two, then he stuck his hat out of the fireplace flue, where the little Who stockings all hung in a row. These stockings, he grinned, are the first things to go. Then he slithered and slunk with a smile most unpleasant. Around the whole room he took every present. Pop guns and bicycles and roller skates and drums, checkerboards, tricycles, popcorn and plums. Then he stuffed them in his bags, and the Grinch very nimbly stuffed all the bags, one by one, up the chimbley. What a nasty Grinch. That's a terrible trick. Then he slunk to the icebox. He took the Who's feast. He took the Who pudding. He took the roast beast. He cleaned out the icebox as quick as a flash. Why, that Grinch even took their last can of Who hash. Then he stuffed all the food up the chimney with glee. And now, grinned the Grinch, I will stuff up the tree. And the Grinch grabbed the tree and he started to shove when he heard a small sound like a little coo of a dove. He turned around fast and he saw a small Who, little Cindy Lou who was not more than 2. The Grinch had been caught by this tiny Who daughter who got out of bed for a cup of cold water. She stared at the Grinch and she said, Santa Claus, why are you taking our Christmas tree? Why? Can you see her? But you know, that old Grinch was so smart and so slick. He thought up a lie, and he thought it up quick. Why, my sweet little tot, the fake Santa Claus lied. There's a light on this tree that won't light on one side. So I'm taking it home to my workshop, my dear. I'll fix it up there, and then I'll bring it back here. And his fib fooled the little girl. He patted her head, and he got a little drink, and he sent her to bed. And when Cindy Lou Who went to bed with her cup, he went to the chimney and stuffed that tree up. When the last thing he took was a log on their fire, then he went up the chimney himself, the old liar. On their walls he left nothing but hooks and some wire, and the one speck of food that he left in the house was a crumb that was even too small for a mouse. Dirty dog. Then he did the same thing to the other Who houses, leaving crumbs much too small for the other Who mouses. He's a stinker. It was dawn, all the Who's still in bed and all the Who's still a snooze, when he packed up his sled, and he packed it up with their presents, the ribbons, the wrappings, the tags, and the tinsel, the trimmings, and the trappings. "3,000 feet up the side of Mount Crumpet, he rode with his load to the tip-top to dump it. Pooh, pooh to the Who's, he grinchly humming. They're finding out now that there no Christmas is coming. They're just waking up. I just know what they'll do. Their mouths will hang open a minute or two, and the Who's down in Whoville will cry, boo-hoo." That is a noise I must simply hear. So he paused in the Grinch, and he put his hand to his ear, and he did hear a sound rising over the snow. It started in low, and then it started to grow. But the sound wasn't sad. Why, this sound sounded merry. It couldn't be so, but it was merry, very. He stared down at Whoville. The Grinch popped his eyes, and he shook. What he saw was a shocking surprise. Every Who in Whoville, the tall and the small, was singing without any presents at all. He hadn't stopped Christmas from coming. It came somehow or other. It came just the same. And the Grinch with his Grinch feet ice cold in the snow stood puzzling and puzzling. How could that be? It came without ribbons, it came without tags, it came with packages, boxes, or bags. And he puzzled 3 hours till his puzzler was sore, and the Grinch thought of something he hadn't before. Maybe Christmas, he thought, doesn't come from a store. Maybe Christmas, perhaps, means a little bit more. And what happened then? Well, in Whoville, they say that the Grinch's small heart grew 3 sizes that day. And the minute his heart didn't feel quite so tight, he whizzed with his load through the bright morning light. And he brought back the toys and the food for the feast. Well, he does have a heart. I thought he lost it. And he, himself, the Grinch, carved the roast beast. Yay! Isn't that nice? I hope all your wishes come true this year, and I hope you all have a nice winter. And I hope it snows really soon. Bye.
Oh, hi, boys and girls. It's me, Snowflake. Is everyone getting ready for Christmas? Because I can't wait.
Ta-da! Hi, Snowflake. I heard you humming Christmas carols and wanted to stop by and say hi and Merry Christmas.
Hi, Santa. Can you say hi to the boys and girls?
Of course! Hello, boys and girls! I hope you are all being good, because my elves are working hard to get your presents ready for me to deliver on Christmas Eve.
Christmas is getting close. I can't wait.
What are you asking for this year, Snowflake?
I'm asking for a joke book. I have read all the joke books in the library, and now I would like to have one of my own.
Oh, Snowflake, can you tell me a joke?
Sure, Santa. I will tell you a joke. I heard from the library lady, Miss Stephanie. You know, she was here earlier reading stories about the Grinch to the boys and girls.
I did know that. I stopped and talked to Miss Stephanie on my way here today. She's great. Now, tell me your joke.
Okay, where does the Grinch keep his money?
I don't know. Where does the Grinch keep his money?
In a snowbank!
That is hilarious.
Would you like to hear another one, Santa?
Well, sure.
How fast did the Grinch's sled go?
I don't know.
Max Speed! Get it? Max was the Grinch's dog who pulled the sleigh.
Oh, Snowflake! You are so funny.
Well, Santa, I have to be going. I'm on my way to a dance tonight.
A dance? Huh, what kind of dance, Snowflake?
A snowball.
Was that another joke?
Yes, I wondered if you would get it.
Well, Santa is very wise. Of course I got it.
You are, Santa. I can't get anything past you.
Well, before you go, I have a joke for you.
Tell me, tell me.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Snow.
Snow who?
Nobody! Well, we better end this visit. I need to go check my naughty and nice list. Bye, boys and girls.